What's up, everyone? Welcome. It is the Friday Live with Lauren show. Congratulations, you made it to Friday. In the first week of 2024, tell me it was a little bit better than the first week of 2023 in the comments. Let me know. Did we survive? Are you doing okay? Are we trucking along? Did you work this week? Or are we working again on Monday? We need to know. I am so excited. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Lauren Sermon. I am a recruiter, a content creator, a mother, a wife. I am just so excited to be here and be with all of you today. I have some phenomenal guests joining me this year who are really going to knock your socks off in terms of what we're going to talk about, what you're going to learn. You're going to laugh, you're going to level up. This is going to be the show that you want to tune into on Friday afternoons. I promise it's worth it. Tell your boss it's educational, it's work related. Yeah, we laugh, but like you should be laughing at work or else your job kind of sucks and you can get in my DMs. I'll help you out. All right, enough of that. I have a very, very special guest today. I am so excited. Have you seen the announcement? I have Jessica Winder joining me. Hi, Jessica.
Hey, I'm so excited. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Friday's my favorite day of the week because I get to do this show.
Yeah.
But I know some people when they get to Friday, they're just like ready to check out right now. And
Mhm.
that's kind of the reason why I like to have this like lighthearted, fun, let's just talk and learn and just enjoy each other's company for an hour and help people level up in the process.
Let's do it. I was born on a Friday, fun fact. So I think it's like a thing for me.
All right, really quick. I have to say one thing. If you saw my announcement today, we have an official gifting sponsor for the show. And you can start entering to win a special gift from Sendoso right now if you tag them in the comments. So tag Sendoso in the comments. For that, thank you, Sendoso. But also, we're going to talk about this in just a minute. Jessica wrote a journal, and you can also enter to win Jessica's journal. Okay, are you ready for this? Are you ready? Look at this. The hidden gem within. Okay. So I'm going to let Jessica tell you all about it. But all you have to do to enter to win these things are tag Sendoso and Hidden Gem Career Coaching in the comments. Read below. Check your spelling, y'all. Last year you couldn't spell. Hopefully this year you could spell. I'll call you out. You know it. But start tagging. I'll let you know that it's working. And Jessica, let me switch. Let's put you up here. And why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Hi. So Jessica Winder, um, new twin mom. I love all things HR and DE&I. To her point, I wrote a journal. The journal I want to give you insight is really focused on like leveling up your career. So I wrote some stories. There's some short stories in there about things that I've been through being in corporate for almost, 13 years. I have a lot of horror stories, but I also have some good things in there about like how you can level up and like putting yourself first. So it's meant to be a journal that you go through and you write out to help you get to your next step. So don't stay stuck. You can keep moving no matter what happens, 1 foot forward. So that's the thing about the journal. And I wrote that because I am really passionate about pushing people forward. I started my business in 2020 thinking through what can I do? So I'm one of those people that like in 2020, I was out protesting and I sat and I thought, what do I need to do to help people? And where's my truth? And my truth is in corporate. And so I decided I'm going to start a company and then I'm going to write a book and help people get to where they want to be. So that's the whole premise behind it.
I love it. And it's so important because people really do need that help. They
Yeah.
really do. Y'all might not want to admit you need it, but you need it. Okay. All right. We're 5 minutes in. We're getting some people joining us. If you are here, do me a favor. LinkedIn doesn't always love me. I haven't been live in a minute, y'all. Y'all, I haven't been live with you. I think it's been like 3 or 4 Fridays. 3 Fridays? I don't know. It feels like forever. It felt like I lost my best friend. The thing I did every Friday, the person I talked to every Friday. I know it was a new person every week, but it was like that thing that I loved. I missed y'all so much. So, one, Jessica, thank you for being my first guest. I was so excited when you said yes. Y'all, it doesn't matter who you are. You get nervous reaching out to people and being like, will you please come on my show?
And I said
So
yes so quickly too. I was like, yeah, girl, what are we doing?
you did immediately. But you do get nervous when you reach out to people. And I have had a few people who've left me on red. So if you're watching this and you left me on red, I know who you are and you know who I am. And please come on my show. I really want you. My audience could learn from you. I'm going to send you this clip directly later on. just so you know. Okay. Cool. We are going to get right into it. We have a lot of hot topics. Jessica, I'm going to let you take away a lot of it. I'll ask you some questions really so the audience can learn from you. But the first topic I want to talk about is job search strategies. This is a big one for my audience. I have a lot of people who are looking for their next move, whether openly or quietly. I see y'all. Don't worry, your boss is looking too. But I want to talk about job search strategies. So, first things first, what's like a common mistake that you're seeing people do when applying for jobs online right now?
I just actually gave this advice out to one of my clients, and she basically said, "Oh, I'm going on LinkedIn and I'm just hitting, quick apply," or she's just applying to all the jobs that she would see. And I see you shaking your head, Lauren, because when you and I both know that does not work. Like, I even advise people to actually go to the company website and apply. And a lot of people are just not using their network. So you just apply to all of these jobs thinking that eventually someone's going to get back to you. I'm gonna be honest with you right now, with all the layoffs that have happened, most people are not getting calls back. It's going to be who you know, who is in your network that might work there or might know someone that works there. Like, how are you tapping into people? Because if you don't, I'm going to be quite honest, it's very unlikely you're going to get a call back. These jobs are getting thousands of people applying. Now, most of them are not qualified. Okay. A lot qualified and a lot of them are bots, but they still have like hundreds to go through if you think about that. So use your connections. Don't be afraid. I've had clients be like, well, I don't want to have like feel like they got a leg up. Why not? Like, what are you talking about? Do you think that other people aren't using their networks, that they're not using the people that they know? Like, what are you even talking about?
Like, hello, it's
Yeah.
kind of important to use your network. My
Yes.
slogan is if I can't, my network can for a
Yes.
reason.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, have you given somebody this advice and they've changed and they've seen like results? Like, talk to us about
Mhm.
some like positive results you've seen from people
Yeah.
you've helped.
I absolutely have. I have a person that right before the holiday, actually, and a lot of people say in November and December, no one's hiring. That's not true. I had someone who absolutely tapped her network, then got an interview, got the job. And that's another thing I just want to pinpoint is tapping your network to then get the interview. You still have to interview, you still have to be qualified. So just because you're using your network doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong because you still have to go through the process, 9 times out of 10. And so making sure that you understand who the decision maker is also so important. Like knowing someone in recruitment is great. Who's the hiring manager? Like that's who you need to go scope out and you need to find all the information about. So I absolutely have had people change it and like tap their network and do not be ashamed to make posts about that you're looking. Now, this is only if you're actively looking or you've been laid off. I think it's so important to be vulnerable. Like the way to get through that hurt sometimes is to be vulnerable and say what's going on. And I've seen a lot of people get jobs through post. So that is also an option. Now, mind you, if you're passively looking, your boss doesn't know, can't do that, but you can still tap your network.
You can definitely tap your network. And just like you said, it's not always that person that you know. Like you have to
Mhm.
interview, you have to get through that process. You could know the CEO of the company. And if somebody underneath him is hiring and he really doesn't want to step in and make that call for you, which let's be honest, most of them don't, they want
Yeah.
you to perform enough that you're going to get the job and they don't have to say, well, you should hire them anyway.
Mhm.
Right? Like that's just true. So be the person who stands out enough also. Do the research. Don't just think that because you got this little helping hand to get you to the first step, that you
Yeah.
don't have to put in just as much or if not more work. I would
Mhm.
almost say if you're a referral, I
Yes.
expect you to have put in more time, more effort, more energy. You just got here on a silver platter. Are you joking? So I really just want to highlight that. If you get that referral, stand out. That person just put their name out there for you.
And I can tell you right now, I refuse. I have been burned one time, and it only takes one time with me with a referral situation where I got a friend a job and it didn't work out. And so now, we can be friends, okay, we can be cool, but I know your work ethic. Okay, I'm not putting my name on that. So if you get a referral from me, you better believe I believe in you. I know you can do this job, but otherwise, it's not happening.
Not happening. Okay, I see this happening in the comments. And Andrew, I know you're okay and you won't mind that I'm saying this. Guys, it's not the hashtag. Use the at symbol and tag the company page. That's how you enter the drawing. I just want to make sure because I've seen the hashtags for Hidden Gem and I've seen some hashtags for Sindoso here as well. So it's not an actual hashtag, everybody. It's the at sign, the at symbol, and then tag the company page. I want you to actually be entered to win the things that would help you. So please do that so that you're all entered to win. Sorry, I'm asking you to comment again. It's honestly not for engagement, even though I don't mind the extra engagement. Okay, Melissa says this is my first time joining and I'm so excited to level up and get all the gems you are dropping. Melissa, we are so excited you are here. Thank you. And I can't tell who this is, but I'm assuming you are a recruiter or a hiring manager. And yes, you were so busy in December. Bree's here. Thanks for coming, Bree. Bree says she never leaves me unread. No, you don't. I probably leave you unread from time to time. I'm sorry, Bree. Hi, Felipe. Happy Friday. We have so many people tuning in. Sorry, I forgot to say hi to anybody, Jessica. We just jumped into it and talked, and I didn't say hi. Welcome back. We did just chat a minute ago. Andrew is not afraid to cold call me. I've given away my phone number in a few of the past episodes. Go dig for a gem and you can find it. It's really not hard to find. I actually think it's listed on my profile. Woohoo, Michelle, let's go.
I got
Michelle. Jessica is a hero to me. Oh, I love this.
Aww.
For being a twin mom and for what she has accomplished with her career and for her deeply personal voyage. My mom had twins at the age of 47 in 1964 after having 6 kids.
Your mom is a hero.
The fact that Jessica's returned to work so quickly after being so busy, what a role model. I agree, which is why I was so excited when she said she would come on.
Of course. I love that. Thank you.
Of course, of course. Okay. All right. Next topic. Let's move into salary negotiations.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. You ready? I know we had people commenting that they wanted to learn about this, and I feel like talking about salary is very uncomfortable for most people, right? Especially women. Like, appreciate you men watching, but like women have a very hard time talking about this. We were taught for a long time it's inappropriate to talk about money and some man just gonna take care of us. No, ladies, let's learn how to negotiate.
Yes.
All right. So, one, because I think this is the first thing I get asked all the time, and I get this, y'all. Hold on, I gotta tell you. I'm so sorry, Jessica.
Yeah.
Job seekers, you need to know this. Hiring managers ask me just as much as you guys ask me what you guys should make. They don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know the market. They don't know what you should make. They don't know. So do your research. So Jessica, how does somebody do the proper research right now to figure out even the number they should be negotiating for?
Yeah. Use everything that you have access to. So to your point about like hiring managers not even knowing the numbers, a lot of times, unless the company pays for like a software or they have like a total rewards person, they truly don't know. And they're using like market research, just like you're Googling, they're Googling. And so depending on where you're Googling at, because a lot of times, especially if you're remote, a lot of times you're thinking, oh, I'm just going to look in one location. That's not really giving you a map of what people make all around the United States if you're going to be remote. So my strong suggestion is like LinkedIn has a feature where you can look at salary, go to Glassdoor, use everything. I've even told people to go to Reddit because people are telling what they're making in Reddit. And if you have a network of people, don't be afraid to tap them and ask them what they're making. I have very close people to me in HR that I have asked them, what are you making? We're in the same role. We might be at different companies, but what are you making? And the best way to know if you're being underpaid or if you're even in the range is who's around you. Who do you know that's in your same role that would be willing to tell you? And I actually think it's really important for people at the job to share their salary. Like if you have people on your job that you are close with that would be willing to share that information with you, that is how I personally have also found out that I was underpaid before when I was very junior in my career, because I asked someone, so like, hey, you know, what are you making? And she and I were close enough that she felt comfortable telling me. And I instantly knew I was being paid like $10,000 less than what I was supposed to be just because I didn't ask for it. So I also want to tap into the asking. We hear all these statistics about like women are just paid less. But there's another statistic underneath that women normally do actually ask and are just told no, whereas other people ask and are told yes. So whenever we hear this, like, oh, people just don't ask. No, women are asking. They're just being told no. And a lot of times, to be quite frank, people are just scared. And once you say no, they don't keep pushing. Whereas I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm gonna keep pushing. So
Me too. Me too. I always tell people my little secret is that when somebody tells you no, ask again,
yeah.
because the psychology behind it is that they don't want to tell you no twice. Like
Mhm.
there's literal psychology
Yes.
behind it.
Yes.
Ask
Yes.
again
Yeah.
and again and again and again.
Yeah, and have your data to back it up, you know what I mean? But making sure that you're looking at all the data. So use everything that you can get your hands on to get a range. And also, do not be afraid to ask the salary range in these first conversations. Don't get your time wasted. Don't get all the way to the final interview to realize that they're like $20,000 short. Why didn't you know this in the beginning? And a lot of times they know what they're doing. Okay? Let's be honest. They want to get a deal, and you are, unfortunately, like, you don't want to be seen as a product, but like sometimes that's how it shakes out, and that's how they look at some candidates.
100%. And I want to call this out really quick because this is important. I can't tell who this is, but they said if you're in sales, check out
Oh, I like
repview.com.
that.
Y'all, if you are in sales,
Mhm.
repview.com. Yes, Tom Slocum, repview for the win. Write
Yeah,
it down, take a screenshot. This is that moment when people are like, this is what you do to level up, but y'all don't listen.
yeah,
Rep view. If you want to learn what other people are actually making, Glassdoor is fake as
mhm.
you know what I want to say. Go to Rep view. Get some real information from some real people who are doing the job you're doing.
Yeah.
And
Sales
then
is
yes,
another good one. Yeah.
you cannot be afraid to hear the word no or say the word no. Right.
Yes.
I like that point too, Andrew, because sometimes we do have to say no as well. Um, what's going on, Tom Slocum? Welcome back. All right. Dude, this has been fun. I feel like people are really gonna level up. Y'all, really quick, if you are watching, if you have a question, you can ask questions in the chat. We will
Mhm.
happily answer questions as long as they are appropriate. That is my one asterisk on that. But we have some, yeah, you guys are tagging it right. Yay,
I
look, we
love
got it
it.
going. We fixed it. Listen, I agree with this. As a recruiter, I discuss
Yes.
salary within the first 15 minutes of the interview. I don't ever want it to come off as transactional. So I will say, as a
Mhm.
recruiter, the first thing that I'm doing when I talk to you is I'm trying to understand where you're at. Are
Mhm.
you happy? Are you
Yeah.
fulfilled? Is this something that like we're going to talk today and this is going to move? Or is this like we're just building a relationship so that in 3 years you're calling me when you're ready for that big boy step and we're moving on, right? So what's happening? But at the same point, we're adults and we work for money.
Yes.
We work for money. Like there's no shame in that. There's no
Nobody
shame in
working for
that.
free. Okay, come on.
I had a hiring manager the other day. Like they were like, "Well, why do they want to know how much it pays so early?" And I'm like, "Well, why do you want to know if they can come into the office if you're not going to tell them how much they're going to make the drive there?"
Yeah, no,
Makes
no.
no sense. It
Yeah.
makes no sense. All right. What else in terms of salary negotiations do you think super important for job seekers to focus on right now, or people who are maybe trying to decide like, hey, I didn't get that raise that I was thinking of for a few years. I need an increase. How am I
Mhm.
going to go about that so that I can stay afloat?
Yeah, that happens a lot, I think, when people stay at a job too long, and I'm just gonna say it that way because sometimes you have overstayed your welcome and you don't realize that you have been, like, redlined. So that's another thing that happens in HR, I've seen it. I have seen behind the scenes someone say, like, "This person is now redlined, we're not giving them any more money because 'cause they've hit the top," and that person doesn't know that, and so they're staying, they stay another year, another 2 years, and they don't get any more money, which means that you're losing money. Because if you would have gone somewhere else, you would have obviously gotten a bump normally when you move job to job. And then the next year, obviously, you would have gotten more money. So be mindful of what's happening in the background when it comes to redlining. I just want to point that out because that absolutely happens. I've been a part of those conversations, I've seen it myself. So that's one part of it. And then the second part is, how are you valuing yourself? So you need to have a number for yourself. Now, the company has a number based on their budget. Okay. This is not based on your skills. This is not based on you. Let's be very clear about that. So, what is your number? I have a practice of writing down, this is the number that I am valuing myself at based on my experience and what I've done. And this is the money that I want. Have I gotten it every time? Absolutely not. That hasn't happened every time. But have I gotten it? Yes, I have. So it is based on my value and what I'm bringing to the table, not what the company can afford. Be very clear on that.
100%. I love it. Listen, and if you're too afraid to ask for the number, and people don't like me when I speak my mind, but I'll say it. If you are too afraid to ask for the number, you don't deserve the number.
Yeah. You're not gonna get it.
You're never going to get it. Like, you might deserve it with everything you think, but you're not going to get it. All right. I see a lot of you dropping links in the comments. I'm trying to look. I hope these are just like rep view links. If you're dropping a sponsored link in the comments, please just let somebody know that that's a sponsored affiliate link and that you are going to get something from that if they click on it. Like this link that I'm dropping right now, that is my Sendoso link. That's an affiliate link. So if you click on that and sign up with it, I get something from it. And I am very honest with all of you about it. So if you're dropping a link in my comments, be straightforward with people or else I'll be upset. But if you're just dropping the rep view link, thank you so much because rep view is amazing and we all need to know. Okay. Somebody said, Crystal said, as someone who's actively seeking, it's one of my first questions. I don't want to waste anyone's time. Crystal, this is why it should be in the job description.
Yes.
And I'm not talking about some crazy ass range that
No.
is absolutely absurd. That's 50 grand to 250 grand, depending on experience. Like, well, who are you hiring? A college
Yes.
graduate or somebody who's been in the workforce for 20 years? I don't know.
Yeah, my favorite, I've seen one that was like 50 to 200K. Sir, what? What are you
Oh, I've
talking
seen worse. I would love to start actually doing a segment on the show where I'm just talking about absurd salary listings on
You
job
should
postings.
screenshot
It's
them.
like,
Yes, you
I
should.
see some insane ones anyway, and like, I don't care. I'll call y'all out.
Yes.
So I really think that might become a segment of the show. But
Yeah.
while we're talking about segments of the show, there's something I want to talk about really quick. The very first guest I ever had on the show, her name was Michelle Craig. Somebody, if you're watching, please tag Michelle Craig. I think she was here earlier. She does a segment called High Five Fridays, where we celebrate wins and accomplishments. And it's literally one of my favorite things on LinkedIn. And I have asked her if she would start doing High Five Fridays on the show. So
Mm.
I'm going to create a link if you want to celebrate, if you want to be shout out, anything on the show, we're going to drop it and we're going to start celebrating you guys every Friday in a High Five Friday. Michelle's going to come on and do it. And we're going to start doing it every Friday starting next week. So talking about new segments and new things. I want to find a way to bring the audience in the show a little more. So high five to all of you and high five to Michelle Craig. Why is nobody tagging Michelle, y'all? There's like 40 of you watching. Please, somebody. 43 of you watching, not one person can tag Michelle. Whatever. I complain. I don't care. All right.
Wait, I
So
see you have a question from Andrew. That's a good one. I want to answer that one.
okay, let's go. Let's do this. Let's do this. I'll read it. Okay, I have a question. If I get an offer and you do not like the salary in the offer, is it okay to try to negotiate when you get the offer letter asking for a friend?
Absolutely. Yes. If you take nothing from this discussion, the offer letter is a part of the negotiation. Like you're getting in writing what they want to offer you. You can absolutely go back and say, I've thought about it based on what we've talked about in the interview and the skill set that you need or the experience that you need, or it could even be based on the location, whatever it is that you've talked about in that interview or that you're bringing to the table. And based on that, I want to come back and say, this is what I would like. Absolutely.
100%. It's got to be in line with what you're going to be happy with, or else you're going to be back talking to
Exactly.
someone like me in 6 to 9 months, right? Like, let's be honest.
Mhm.
If you're not fulfilled, and that's just not with what you're doing, but that's also with the money you're making.
Mhm.
Some of us do have to take roles to get by. Some of us do part-time works and consulting gigs and things like that. Like, I understand all of those. Like, I am
Mhm.
not hating on it. I'm not saying don't do it if you don't have to, but at some point, like, you have to make a certain amount in a full-time role for that to be your steady full-time role.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. Or else you're always going to be looking in the background.
Mhm.
Thank you, Chris Jarvis. You are the MVP. Someone.
One
Oh,
more quick thing about this, Lauren, that I want to point out is that I have also been in discussions in the background in HR where we have like a salary range, and we know that if someone, let's say the salary range is up to 100, and we've put it in the budget that we could offer up to 110. And and I don't like this practice. Let me be very clear. I do not like this practice. I don't think it's fair and equitable, because if people don't ask and they don't get it, and normally it's, women and people of color that don't ask. And so I don't think this is right, but it does happen. So to the point about like, if you can ask for more once you get the offer letter, I have absolutely seen it where if the person would have asked, they would have gotten more money, but they didn't ask and they didn't get it. So I just want to point that out.
Tom Slocum once told me that closed mouths don't get fed.
And they don't.
And they don't. Okay, Cordy says, I asked in an interview what the salary range was, and the interviewer looked shocked and told me that'll be in the offer letter. Y'all, my local gas station pays more. I aggressively ignored additional communication.
Is your local gas station Buc-ee's? Because Buc-ee's pays well.
Buc-ee's is the bomb. Y'all, okay, I am sorry. If anybody lives near a Buc-ee's and you want to ship me some beef jerky, well, not the beef jerky kind, like they got specialty jerky at Buc-ee's. I don't live near Buc-ee's. I'm in South Florida. Please,
Yeah.
Buc-ee's. I'll be your friend forever. Hey, Rob. Thanks for tuning in. I'm so glad you made it. We still got half the show left. Yes. Thanks, ladies. Yeah, Andrew. And the show's always recorded, so they can come back and catch the clip. So share the event with them later. Lindsay Dowd's in the house. Lindsay's coming on the show. We're pumped you could make it. And I can't wait for the truth bombs you're going to drop when you come on. I mean, this show is just going to get hotter this year, y'all. You better reserve Fridays at 3. Buc-ee's is the jam. I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. I'm going to send you a DM. Courtney, oh my gosh, my day was just made.
Yes.
Like, my day's been made. It's just been a great day. It's been a great year so far, y'all. Like, it's been a good year. It's been a good year for you so far?
So far, so good.
So far, so good. I had a slight accident and I like tripped and fell right before the new year. But I'm like, my joke is that I tripped into 2024.
Okay, you better get it.
So it can only go up from here.
Started from the bottom, now we here.
And we're going to be in Tampa at Sales and Sales next week. I don't know, Jessica. I wish you could come. But I believe that party is sold out. So if you are not already going to Sales and Sales in Tampa, I'm so sorry. But if you are going, if you're watching and going, comment. I'd love to meet you while I'm there. Trying to not get sick on a yacht because I do get seasick. I'll be eating Dramamine. Yeah, no fun. You do well on boats?
Yeah. Yes. No, absolutely not. I have the sickest I've ever been was on a boat to Jamaica once. And I actually, my friends, we went on a boat there. I ended up flying back.
Yep.
I like refused to get back on the boat.
Okay, I'm not the only one. When we were at Sasser last year, we went to a yacht party and I was eating Dramamine the whole time, like Tic Tacs. So we'll make it, but we're going to have a whole bottle of Dramamine. All right. It is, it's already halfway through. Just going. Okay, if you're here, if you just tuned in, share the show. Let your friends know we are live. On the bottom, you will see we're doing some giveaways. You can tag at Sendoso or at Hidden Gem Career Coaching. We do have some fun things we're giving away. Jessica is giving away the Hidden Gem Within journal that she wrote. She told us all about it at the beginning of the show. I would love for you to win this. I really think it's something that would keep you moving, like Jessica said. That's the part that we all fall, like things fall through the cracks and then we just stall. And then it's like, oh, I haven't gone to the gym in 3 weeks. What's going on? Like, come on, y'all. You got to do better in your job search and with your career than we do going to the gym. Yes. Well, for most of us, at least. I'm sure there's some of you watching who are like, Lauren, Bree's watching. Bree's insane. Love you, Bree. I need to do some online training with you. So tag Hidden Gym Career Coaching to win this. And then we are giving away one or the other, not both, but I will let you choose if you win the Sendoso giveaway. Can you read these, Jessica? The one is called 2 Weeks Notice. Smells like burnout and peace out. And the other one is called ghosting. Smells like no calls and close calls. So depending on where you're at in your career journey, whether you've been ghosted or you're ready to give your notice, I have a candle for you.
Yeah.
And
those
with that,
more perfect.
Literally, when I saw those, I was like, that's what we have to give away. We have to give it away. All right. Okay, we're going to take a really short break. I'm going to let Jessica take a sip of water. I'm going to tell you all about the accountability group in a literal 30-second video. So we will really be right back. Bye, y'all. Oh, hey, what's up, y'all? Sorry, we're back. I'm dancing to my own thing. I made that so I get to enjoy it and cheer for it because I created it. And if you're not cheering for yourself, who's cheering for you. We learned that this week. Okay, if you are just tuning in, I'm Lauren Sermon. This is the Friday Live with Lauren show. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. I have Jessica Winder here, and we are dropping some hot topics today. We have already told you all about job search strategies. We talked to you a little bit about salary negotiation. We want to help you level up, y'all. Level up. If you didn't level up today, your boss won't let you come back next week. So level up. And y'all, look, I wrote an agenda today. Aren't you so proud of me? I'm staying on track. I just flipped the page. I didn't do it during the break because I was dancing to my jam. But join the accountability group with us next month. I will say this month, I think we had 16 people start or sign up. 16 people signed up. There's been 10 people posting consistently. I'm going to highlight each and every one of them next week on the show. So sign up, grow your brand. It really is important in the sense that you have to live on past your job.
Mhm.
And when I say that, I don't mean that you can't love your job and you can't be at a company for 30 years if that's what you want, even though Jessica just told you don't do that. I won't hate on you for that, but you have to have an identity beyond your workplace because at the end of the day, it's boardrooms and budgets.
Mhm.
If you don't fit into that budget, you won't be in the boardroom. What are you doing for yourself? Okay. That's as serious as I'm going to get. I will get off my oh, look, perfection. Thanks, Lindsay. You too. Okay, we're gonna jump into the next topic. Are you so excited? I'm ready. I'm ready.
Let's do
Where
it.
is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where are we? Performance management. And now,
Ooh.
y'all, when we talk about performance management, I feel like this topic sometimes goes over people's heads. And they're like, I don't need to listen to this. But if you are not managing your career, you're not managing every expectation of you, what are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, so I got to switch us so that I can make you big. But we're going to talk about performance management. So, what's the number one misunderstood thing about performance management, in your opinion?
In my opinion, a lot of people feel like performance management is their manager talking to them. Like they take no ownership of it. It's just like, oh, my manager is going to tell me that I'm doing a good job, I'm doing a bad job. No, you need to be advocating for yourself. Let's be clear. If you are not advocating for yourself, you are doing it all wrong. The people that advocate for themselves are the people that are climbing. Okay. They climbing to the top. They up there because people know what they're doing. So I have heard so many times, specifically from women that say, I'm just going to do a good job, keep my head down, and I'll get the recognition. Like they'll recognize me. When? Where? No, it's not gonna happen. That's not how it works. You need to be advocating for yourself. So one of the things that I do is I have a document and I have a folder on my computer. That's all about the good job that I've done. So anytime somebody tells me I did something good or an accolade or I finished a project, I have it written down. So you will never catch me slipping in a performance review where I'm like, oh, I don't know what I did the last quarter. Oh, I know exactly what I did. And I want you to know what I did. So you are supposed to be selling yourself. A lot of times, I mean, the quote is everything is sales. It is. Okay. And performance management is no different. So you need to be making sure that you are categorizing and you have it written down. What are you completing? So that when performance management comes around, you can say it, because a lot of times people get caught off guard and they only talk about what they did in the last 2 weeks. No, you a whole quarter, or honestly, I hope you're not still doing annual reviews or it's a whole year. But if you are, then you should have a year's worth of stuff that you've done. So think of it, take ownership. That's my key. Take ownership of it. It is not your boss telling you that you just did a good job or a bad job. What are you telling your boss about what you did?
100%. I'll never forget when I first started in my corporate career, I worked for Marriott. And I grew with Marriott to the point where I was Mr. Marriott's personal server, even though I was doing other things. When Mr. Marriott came to town, that's what I did. I started in the hotel as a server and bartender. And I'll never forget, it wasn't like a performance review because we were serving and bartending, but there was a promotion and I wanted to move into leadership, right? And I came in with this is going to age me, so y'all ignore this, but I came in with every single TripAdvisor review that I had
Okay.
been mentioned by name since I'd started in the hotel. And I had over 100. And it
Mhm.
was like, you've only been here for 4 months. I said, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like you have to have the receipts and the proof, and you have to advocate for yourself every step of the way. There were 4 other people who wanted that, but what did they show up with? Nothing.
Mhm.
Just the fact that they thought they deserved it in their head.
Yep.
And people don't know what you're doing because people
Mhm.
think about you as often as you think about you.
Yes.
Your boss has a whole job they're doing, and
Mhm.
it's we're like, "Oh my god, our boss gonna be so mad at us, we didn't get this done, da, da." Your boss probably doesn't know you didn't get that done because you're things done. Let's all be honest.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Nobody can be honest on LinkedIn. Welcome to the Friday Live with Lauren show. Nobody can keep up right now. We're all overwhelmed. It's a lot for everyone. So stop thinking so much that everybody's worried about you and just put the work in and do the best you can. Show up every day and tell people what you're doing.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right. So that's what people kind of misunderstand, right? But you say be more active, take ownership.
Mhm.
Give people some specific action items other than I have a folder, right? Like, how do they have that conversation with their boss when they're presenting these things? Like, how do you present it where it's not
Mhm.
boastful
Yeah.
and it's professional?
Absolutely. That's a really good question. I think it's really important the words that people normally use are the manage up words, which to me that's like, yeah, I don't like the way that sounds. I also don't like the word like boss. Like whenever someone's like, "Well, who's your boss?" I'm like, "Me." You know, like I just don't like it. It like irks me. But I say that to say it is super important. You don't a lot of people don't want to do this because they don't want to come off like, oh, I'm just boasting about all the things that I've done. But my pushback to that is it's your performance review. It's normally you and your manager. So it's you and one other person. Like if that's not the time to shine, then when are you going to do it? So I push back on that. Like just that is your time to shine. And then the second thing I would say is make sure that a lot of times they make you document it. So you're in some type of documentation beforehand. So writing it out and saying, these are the things that I did and the impact to the business. That is the key. What did you do that had an impact to the business? So tie everything you've done to either a core value or this is how it showed up for clients, whoever your clients might be. So for example, for me in HR, I say my clients are the employees because they are. So, how are employees impacted by the processes that I'm doing? Now, if you're client facing, how have clients given you feedback? To your example, Lauren, if they're writing about you, print it out, put it on there. Like this person wrote about me. And that's the way to really get it is the key is to write it down. And then when you have the conversation, then you have some type of context. I always think it's important for the person that's reviewing you to see your self review before they do their review. So make sure that they've seen what you've written, they've seen how you want to rank yourself before they do their review. Because if not, it can feel a little combative. If you're saying you did all these great things and then your manager never saw that, and now they're rating you based on what they can remember that you did, and as we know, it's not going to be everything. So making sure that you prep before the meeting, that they know what you want to talk about before the meeting.
And to your point, I've also had a review that was the opposite.
Mhm.
So I did not talk to the manager before the review or my director before the review. This was very early in my career. And I went through this training program, and at the end, you're going to be evaluated. And it was weeks and weeks and weeks, right? All and okay, cool. So I'm very hard on myself as an
Mhm.
employee. I'm extremely tough on myself. So when it was self-review time, I gave myself like
Mhm.
mid. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm freaking amazing. Well, guess what, y'all? Every time after this, I've never said anything other than
Mhm.
amazing on probably any performance review ever because his review was awesome of
Mhm.
me and mine looked like shit. And then, like, the really important people are there, like, "Well, how are you 2 not on the same page?" And I like, we
Mm.
needed to have that conversation or some type of review beforehand so that it didn't end up like that because I really probably had done a good job,
Yeah.
but it was early in my career. I was really hard on myself, and to me, I don't judge myself based on what do I do compared to other people. I judge myself based on what do I do compared to what I probably could strive to do,
Yeah.
right? I feel like you're probably similar in that instance.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
100%. All right, I love this from Lindsay. There is no such thing as job security, only career security. You
Yes.
need to build that for yourself. Yes. And thank you, Andrew. I am still young. I know. I did just get on my Botox. Y'all know I'm pretty open about that too. So, um, I don't know what you guys are talking about. They make great jam. I missed something in the comments. What makes good jam?
Oh, I think
Um,
we're talking about Bucky's.
Okay, well, I need some jam too, apparently. Andrew sent you a connection request.
Yes. Thank you, Andrew.
Okay, awesome. All right, so next topic of the day, because we still have to do the giveaway. We still have so much other stuff. So Remember, if you have a question, you can ask it, but we probably won't have time for many. So, like, we'll probably pull 2 or 3 if there's anything left. But this one's a big one, and I know people are probably going to have questions about this topic. It's, to me, one of the most important things we are going to talk about today, and I know most of my audience here wants to hear about it. So,
Mm,
we have a lot to talk about when it comes to interviewing.
yeah.
And my number one thing I'm going to say before I let Jessica run away with this is that you are probably rusty dusty in your interview skills. And you need to practice with someone who's not going to tell you you're great and amazing and not your mom. Well, my mom would roast you, so you could interview with my mom. I'll tell you her fee. Um, but you need to interview with someone who's not your best friend, with
Mhm,
someone who will really give you an outsider's perspective and somebody that you respect. I'm not saying you need to go pay a fee for this to someone, but I will say you need to be practicing with people that you are uncomfortable with because
mhm.
interviews are purposefully uncomfortable. All right. So,
Yes.
first question, we know that interviews are uncomfortable. So the
Mhm.
number one thing that people hate to answer, why are you looking? Why did you leave your last role?
Oh, yeah.
Where do we go from here? How do we answer this properly? Because I'm the recruiter and I hear the real reasons, but
Mhm.
nobody's telling the real reasons in the interview. So how do we tactfully talk about why we're looking for work?
Yeah, to your point, it's such a, I'm gonna start off by saying this. This is a game. Interviewing is a game. And I know people hate when I say that. I've gotten a lot of like pushback when I make that a post about that on LinkedIn, but it is true. It is a game. You have to play the game. And a lot of times people tell me like, "Well, I just want to tell them that my boss was horrible and I couldn't work with them." That it never goes over well. Like if you literally spend that time bad mouthing your boss, I can tell you right now in the notes or in the scorecard or in the ATS, it will be flagged. So it's a game. Make sure you realize that in your mind. It's a game. So from there, once you know that this is a game, you have to play accordingly. So whatever the reason might be, and I'm just going to come up with some examples. So maybe the example is there's a personality conflict with your boss, and it's just not the right move for you. You need to talk about this is how I've had a business impact, and I've decided it's run its course, whatever that might mean for you, and now it's time for me to move on. So a way to do that could be, I was hired to work on this project and I've done XYZ. It has had a major impact on the business. And now I'm looking for my next opportunity. Don't talk about like, you and your boss can't get along and they're texting you at 8 o'clock in the morning. No, it's what did you do here? What was the business impact? And why do you want to move forward? Now, maybe it's something about this company that is important to you. So maybe you want to go to a startup or you want to get out of a startup. Then you can pivot to why that is the role for you. But you have to be able to pivot, but think of it as a formula. This is what I did at this company. This was the business impact. And this is why I'm interested in this company or this opportunity.
I love this. And I'm going to take this back really quickly to job search strategies. When I don't do them anymore, but I was doing job search strategy sessions last year. And one of my biggest things I talk to with my clients is that you should be applying for jobs at companies that you actually enjoy what they sell or what they do or their product or their offering or their core values or something. I will literally say, if you had all the money in the world, what would you go do tomorrow? Okay, I'd travel or I'd want to go volunteer. Okay, so let's look into companies that revolve around these types of
Mhm.
things because you're actually passionate about it on the inside. And then when they say, why do you want to work here? Why are you looking? You could say, actually, I've just been waiting for the perfect opportunity for
Mhm.
this job to open on this team because this is a company that I value for X, Y, and Z. Now nobody cares why you left your other role. You're here solely for the I love you and I want
Mhm.
to be here. And how much better does that sound than my boss freaking
Yeah.
sucks?
Yeah.
They're your boss. They're gonna suck in some way, shape, or form. Like,
Mhm.
sorry, I've had some good bosses, but all
Yeah.
of you have sucked at some point in one way, shape, or form. I've had a day where I've been like, what are y'all doing? Even for the best ones. And people
Yeah.
feel that way about me too, the people that I've managed. And I can own that. We're
Yeah.
people, we're human.
Sometimes you're the villain and sometimes you're the hero.
And sometimes you just have to accept that you're the villain. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm gonna let you take this one away. So another question I have, because I deal with this a lot, because I'm an agency recruiter. So, y'all, if you don't know, agency recruiters are third parties, right? So,
Mhm.
I work outside of the company, but with the company's best interest. I also work with candidates with the candidate's best interest. I have to make sure it all aligns, or else you're a shady recruiter. There's a lot of those on here too. But when it comes down to conversations around culture at the company,
Mhm.
this is a big, big thing for people,
Mhm.
and trying to understand, how do I know if I fit in the culture? How do I explain that? What words do I talk about in the interview? What do I ask to understand what they're looking for? I think that's another
Mhm.
one. What do you recommend in conversations around company culture in interviews?
This is one of the ones I think when you interview prep, to your point about like interviewing with somebody that's going to give you the truth, make sure that you also, along with that, go do some research on like what is important to you. So, for example, if I'm interviewing somewhere, I'm asking about the culture, I'm specifically going to ask about diversity. There's no way, shape, or form that I wouldn't. So, I want to ask about it and I'm also going to research it. So I'm going to be on the website. I'm going to be on LinkedIn. I'm going to everything that I can find about this company to understand what are they doing there. And then I'm going to ask in the interview, tell me about, don't say, just tell me about the culture. Okay, they're going to say, it's so great. Here's our core values. These are all the things that we're doing. No, you need to be very specific because what is important to you? So, is it important to you to have a sense of community? So, is that affinity groups? Is that ERGs? Is it important to you to be able to level up? So, then you should ask about, is there coaching opportunities, or is there a mentor? Or can I go to courses, or can I go to conferences? Maybe what's important to you, maybe none of that is important to you, and you just want to do your job and go home. What is the flexibility like? So, what are the boundaries? What does it look like here if I have a hard stop at 5? Or another thing I've asked people now that I'm a parent, I've asked, you know, are people leaving at a certain time, or like who goes and picks up people's kids? You know what I mean? Like I've asked people that, like, do you have a boundary at work that you can go get your kids, or that you have a life outside of work? And I asked that in a very specific way of, tell me who you are outside of work, because then I would know, like, if you're telling me, well, my days are, 10 hours and, I log off at 6. Okay. You're telling me right there, this ain't for me because I have to go get my kids. So make sure what is important to you that you're asking about that. Because if you just say the culture, it's too broad, you're going to get a bullshit answer, really.
Broad questions get broad answers.
Mhm.
So if you want something specific, ask for something specific. I like this point that Lindsay makes. She
Yeah.
says, ask them about their management style. If they can't answer their management
Yeah.
style, like, I will say some people are young in their careers and they're just becoming leaders and they're learning, but like, y'all, they should understand
Yes.
who they are as managers. They should be getting feedback from their employees regularly about
Mhm.
how that's going. And to the same point, ask if you can speak to a
Yes.
few people on the team.
Yeah.
I purposefully go look for people who used to be on the team.
Yes, that is the T right there. Go ask somebody who used to work there what it was like to work there. I've done this several times on LinkedIn. You can find people and they will talk to you.
Oh, they will talk to you. My other favorite thing, so I do content for a lot of companies, right? And I connect with a bunch of people at the companies that I do content with. And it's so funny to me when some of them are like, "Oh, hi Lauren, do you have a job for me?" And it's like, "No, I actually am like partnered with your company and I promote your company all the time, but I'm so glad to know you're looking." I would never say anything, but it's like, "Y'all, come on. I'm partnered with your company. I can't recruit away from them. That's the other reason why you should sign a contract with me. I'll never take your employees away from you if you sign a contract with me." Sorry. I like to point that out. Some people are like, "That's rude." It is what it is. It's life.
Oh, that's
Get
honest.
get your money. We recruiters get the "I want to work in good culture" response all the time. Yeah, but they don't know what that culture
Yeah,
is.
what
They
does that
just
even
hear
mean?
about it. Good culture, it's a buzzword. Buzzword. Good
Yeah,
culture. What does that mean for
yeah,
you? Like, do you
and
want to
that
grow? Do
changes.
you what?
I said that changes all the time too. So what was a good culture for me? So I would say when I started my career, I wanted to be on the go. Okay. I was single, I didn't have any kids. I wanted to travel. So I took a job where I was traveling every single week. I'm flying around the country. That no longer would work for me. So I'm in a different stage in my life. So what's a good culture? That was a great culture for me then. Now I couldn't take a job like that. So the culture can change. Like what you need should change and you should look for that in your next job.
100%. Okay, one more question because this one's important. So, we always talk about
Mhm.
red flags in interviews and all that. Well, I get people who are like, "Lauren, I have to ignore the red flags or I have to move out of my house."
Mhm.
So, let's talk about the things that you can handle, the things that you can't handle, and how do you find the line in between? How do you coach job seekers who are trying to find the middle ground of what's okay and what's not, and how do they toe that line right now?
Yeah. I want to acknowledge that you have to pay your bills, whatever that means to you. And so there is no shame in having to take a quote unquote bridge job or do whatever you got to do to put food on the table for you and whoever you might have to care for. And so I just want to say that out loud because a lot of times I talk to, my clients and they feel such shame around that. Like, well, I had to take this job. You are being paid to do something and there shouldn't be any shame in that, whatever that might mean. I have one client who took a job at Whole Foods. She works in HR, but she took a job at Whole Foods just for the time being. And there's no shame in that. I want to say that out loud. My second point, though, is that you have to decide what's not going to eat your soul alive because burnout is real. If it's going to, my line in the sand is if it's going to have a negative impact on your mental health, you really, really need to evaluate if you can do it. And if you have to do it, set a realistic time frame. Like, can you just do it for 3 months? Can you do it for 6 months? Like, give yourself an out because a lot of times we think in absolutes. I took this and I have to stay. Maybe you just have to do this one thing for 3 months and then you can do something else. And I myself have taken a job before knowing it was not right for me, but at the time, I really had no other choice because if not, I wouldn't have been able to pay my bills. And I knew when I took the job, I knew one, that me and the manager were not going to get along because they wanted somebody that was going to be a yes person. That ain't me. So I knew that was going to be a problem. And I also knew just like the culture was not the right fit for me, but I took the job anyway because I had to. And I gave myself an out. I said, I'm only going to stay here for 90 days. And that is exactly what I did because in that 90 days, I was hustling, I was networking, I was interviewing the whole time, and I got a job that I actually wanted. So don't stop interviewing. That's also my tip.
Won't stop interviewing. The amount of people that I call, one, if you got your open to work banner on and you're not open to work, you suck because I reach out to those people first. And I purposely look for that. Like, I try to be the good recruiter, right? Like, I really do. I want to reach out to the people who are open to work first. If you are actively out here, like, I want to reach out to you. I can't tell you how many times I call somebody who's open to work because I call you. Also, I call you, answer the phone, but they're like, oh, yeah, no, I'm not looking. Nah, not right now. Like, you don't even want to hear. You don't
Wow.
even want to hear about what I have to offer. How long ago were you open to work? Girl, I want to rip these extensions out of my head so much. I do not understand when I get on the phone with someone and they don't even want to hear about what's out there.
Yeah, no. You should always, always want to hear. At least just build the relationship.
And then how do you know you're still getting paid market value if you don't know what's out there? Never going to get a 20% increase in 1 year at your own job. Sorry, enjoy that 3%. You sound like the kid from Little Rascals. I got a nickel. I got a nickel.
Hey.
Oh, this has been fun. Okay, really quick, last time because we're gonna draw in just a minute. So look at the bottom, tag Sendoso and Hidden Gem Career Coaching. Let me show you what you can win. This is Jessica's journal, The Hidden Gem Within. I know y'all need this. If you don't want it, send it to me. Okay. And then Sendoso, we have these candles, 2 candles. You're gonna win one. I'll let you pick depending on where you're at in your journey. So not both, one or the other. Ghosting smells like no calls and close calls. Were you ghosted recently? Drop hashtag ghost in the comments if you've been ghosted in 2024. It has not happened to me yet, Jessica. Not yet in 2024. Or 2 weeks notice. Are you ready to go? Are you like, Lauren, we're out of here? Because that smells like burnout and peace out. Because if you burn out, you will peace out eventually, but we want you here forever. So burnout, ghosting, 2 weeks notice. Where are we having? What are we going to smell like? And then we have our last topic of the day. This is my favorite topic out of the whole show. If you've never seen the show before, this has nothing to do with anything we've talked about in the show at all whatsoever. This part is strictly for me for fun because I host a show for an hour every Friday and I want to do something for me at the end. So I ask all of my guests for a fun Friday fact. What you got?
Okay, so this one is completely nothing to do with work life, but personal life. Like I said, I have twins. So this is a fun fact about me that I don't know if most people know this, but when you have twins, you can have 2 different types of births. So I actually had a all natural birth and then a C-section. So I had 2 different births for my twins. So fun fact, my doctor told me in all of his 30 years, he's had to do this maybe twice. But yeah, I ended up one twin was all natural and the other twin was a C-section. So
Wow, I did not know that. See, you did not just learn about work today. You learned a really interesting fact. I did not know that.
it
So,
absolutely
okay,
can happen.
how far apart does this happen?
They're like 20 minutes apart.
20 minutes apart.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Y'all, did you know that? Yes or no in the comments. I always like to know if people knew the fact before.
Yeah.
Oh, look. Me
Oh
too,
my
Jess.
god, we need to talk.
So I'm gonna start like a group of all the people who come on the show. We could just all network like once a month and get on. So we all be on together soon enough. Those candles would look great on my desk. Yes, Crystal. Yes, they would. Michelle, the candles really are epic. Fun fact, I don't know if you guys know, Sendoso is a gifting platform, right? Gifting and sales. Have you ever used gifting and sales?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, so Michelle Craig, who was also the first person on my show, that's why you were tagged. We were talking about you, Michelle. Michelle Craig sent me cookies when I can't remember if I had COVID or the flu. I think I had the flu because I had my taste buds. But she sent me cookies when I had the flu. It like hit my whole household, and that was my first experience with
Mm.
gifting, and I have been hooked ever since. So thank you, Michelle, for introducing me to that world. And now Katie Penner and Sendoso are our official gifting sponsors. Thank you so much, y'all. It's so nice to be able to like give you guys something every
Mm.
week. So we're gonna draw right now. I saw a few more people commented. This is the part of the show where Jessica, I got to share my screen.
Yeah.
I'm pretty bad at this. I don't do this that often. So give me just 1 second. It's been a few weeks, y'all. All right, are we ready? Jessica, when I do this, tell me if you can see it. Can we see it?
I can see it.
Okay, so we're gonna draw for Sendoso 13. That's kind of depressing. There was like 45 of you on here at one point. Let's see who's gonna win out of these 13 people. Who's getting a candle, and which one will it be? Comment in the comments. Yeah, Lena. Comment and let us know which candle you're gonna have. If you're gonna have burnout or no 2 weeks notice or ghosting. Which one would you like? Let me know. And then we're going to do the drawing for, God, I got to do this each time. I really need somebody to run this show for me. For your journal. Okay, are we ready? We had 6 people enter for the journal. Let's see. Who's it going to be? Boop, boop, boop. I need like a sound effects machine. Andrew. Oh, and Andrew connected with you too. That's perfect. Andrew. Awesome. All right. Well, y'all, this was fun. Jessica, any final words for everybody today?
I'd say 2024 is the year of more. Don't give up. Keep pushing one foot in front of the other.
Keep pushing. I love that. It's the year of more. I told people, listen, y'all, last year we survived. This year we will thrive.
Love it.
This was fun.
Yes.
I am very excited to see you all back here next week. But you know what I say? If you didn't like it, don't come back. Bye.